This Shit My Dad Taught Me episode is brought to you by an amazing sponsor, Matthew-Stevenson.ca. He's wealth strategy. Tax smart, estate smart, legacy smart. Thank you, Matt.
Shit my dad taught me.
Shit my dad taught me. Stuart, we like to kick off with a little guest intro. It's ChatGPT. It's not Jamie and I actually doing real work, but it's how we kick things off. So if I may, and feel free to correct me when it's done, because again, if it's all fucked up, it's either GPT or Jamie's fault. It says, our guest today runs one of the most accessible Bitcoin entry points on the planet, known as SatChats, a welcome center for Bitcoin beginners. Stewart Pelto doesn't just preach crypto jargon, he simplifies it, humanizes it, and invites regular people to ask real questions about money, freedom, and the future on SatChats. How's that so far?
I mean, Chappie makes me feel good about myself. Please continue.
Let's go. So he's more than just a podcaster. He's a former PAC manager turned tech sales rep turned full-time Bitcoin evangelist. He uses his background in communications and systems thinking to make the complex world of Bitcoin relatable. On SatChats, he and his guests break down what stacking sats means in real life, how Bitcoin intersects with justice, financial sovereignty, generational wealth, and personal freedom. But today, we get to find out who Stewart really is, maybe behind the microphone, what drove him to Bitcoin, what his mission is behind his Welcome Center approach, and how does he navigate a world skeptical of crypto while trying to build something that might outlast us all. Welcome to the show, Stewart.
Wow.
Damn,
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Chappie. We really appreciate you and your efforts. Only thing that I would say was missing was nice full beard.
Yeah.
But I know Chappie, you probably didn't load any photos in for her to take a look at before the show
No, it did.
started.
It said likely has one of the top 2 beards on today's show. So
Yeah, Jamie, where's your beard, man?
he's like a little
I just got the lazy man thing going
little
on.
peach fuzz over here, kind of light on the beard.
The laziest option is to have a full beard because you just let it grow without touching it. You're actually doing more work than Chris and I.
Yeah, but not when you eat. When you eat, you got all that shit to clean up. And I don't know. I just give her a quick one of these and it's gone. Where like you guys get like leftovers left in there. And
you got to manicure that shit. You end up with like a James Harden growth if you don't. So yeah, it's you know, it's not easy being this good looking. I know everybody can relate. It's a lot of work, bro. So I want to do a couple things, man. First, let's kind of say how you and I met. I just recently, well, maybe I don't know when things are airing, but you and I basically just sat down on your format, your podcast, to talk a little bit about it, and then we kind of realized that we're both dads, and we're both proud to be. So that kind of led to you and I having a great convo, and here you are today. So maybe what I'll do is just, if I could, outside of the ChatGPT stuff, kind of introduce us, but tell us about the real you.
where are you from? Kids? Married?
Okay. All right. So dad mode unlocked. Let's go. I'll shift over here. I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina, which for Canada is like, it's between here and Florida. You know, I see all your license plates coming down 95 on the way down to Florida. You know, once you get past Washington, D.C., then you've got Raleigh, North Carolina. Then there's some scary states, and then you're in Florida. I've got a wife. We've been together for 20 years. We've got 2 kids. I've got a 12-year-old boy who has co-hosted my show before and been a guest on my show.
There you go.
And done some short stacks. He eventually wants to kind of build his own line of content out for SatChats where he talks about Bitcoin while building Legos, which I think is excellent. And I've got a 10-year-old daughter who is not as interested in stacking sats as my son is. She came on the show, and we offer $50 or $50 worth of Bitcoin at the end of every episode. She chose the $50 in cash, broke my heart, went to Target, had a makeup shopping spree, and later on, I figured out she had so much makeup and skincare that we ended up taking a photo of every single item this weekend, and we put it into Chappie, that's what I call Chat GPT, because Chat GPT is too much of a mouthful. We threw the whole thing into Chappie, and Chappie, like, she was beautiful. She was like, you don't need these products. Keep these. Here's your simplified skincare routine for being a 5th grade. Dude, it was amazing.
For being a fifth grader.
No, that's Lucy, man. That's right. That's exactly the age of my daughter, and that's exactly what her room looks like, man. Those kids are getting marketed to, though, eh? You put the like Sephora ads up and the YouTubers, the influencers. My goodness. Gotta have it all.
Wild.
Like wild. And just when you think they do, they drop another, I'll fuck up the names, but Sol de Janeiro, and we got to get that number. And like, there was one the other day that came out and it was 6.7, and she's like, well, we need that, obviously. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, obviously.
And broke daddy's heart up
dude,
to boot.
this-
Instead of taking the Bitcoin, she took the $50.
Yeah, there's only 9 people that have done that on your show, and she's one, huh?
Yes, she's one of them, and my older sister is one of them, man.
Ooh.
She came on the show. She looked right into the camera at the beginning of the show and said, I'm taking the $50 and I'm going to spend it on tacos tonight. And dude, savage elbow drop from the top rope at the beginning of the episode. I'm like, you're not even going to listen to why Bitcoin is good. It was wild.
So would that be worse, or would it be worse if someone was like, "Hey, I'll take your $50 in Bitcoin, sell it and buy SHIB, and just hope for the best"? Which would be worse situation?
Yeah, that's a good question. Selling the Bitcoin for like some fart coin, for example, that might be rough. But we're just trying to be good people out here and help people adopt something super important and, be a good dad while we're doing it. My kids think it's pretty cool that I'm a YouTuber. I think like when I was cybersecurity sales rep, it was like, okay, whatever. But now that I'm like a YouTuber, I'm like a little bit cooler. And I think somebody in my baby girl's class says that I'm his favorite YouTuber and he has subscribed. So shout out to, I don't know what your name is, brother, but I know what you look like and I would recognize you if I saw you at the elementary school. Okay.
Big high fives next time. Love that. Yeah, it was a cool format, man. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it was neat to kind of take the approach of you've got a real specialty in what you do, and you're obviously a big Bitcoin enthusiast. And he shat on me a little bit for calling everything crypto, and like he very aggressively put me in my place. We would say, Stewart, very with authority. But do that
it's for your own good, man.
do that for the listeners one time. Tell me a little bit about your points of view on Bitcoin versus others.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I tell you what, Chris, this might be even better for you. I think if I can tell you why, I think I told you at the end of our episode that I am a Bitcoiner because I am a dad. The reason why I am a Bitcoiner is because I am a dad. I think if I can convey that to you, it will include that whole Bitcoin versus crypto moment. And I can kind of answer your question, but give you the bigger picture as well. Do you want me to tell you a story? Does that sound good?
Go into it, man. Yeah.
Okay. So you said it in your intro. I was a PAC manager, which that's a PAC manager, a political action committee manager. I got my start. I actually studied languages at university. Then I transitioned into politics because the great financial recession was an absolute shit show. See, look, I can curse if I really try.
Good for you. Let it fly, man.
I moved from politics into marketing, from marketing into sales, and from sales into cybersecurity sales. So what does that mean? It means that my income went like this, which was great. And I eventually reached a 6-figure base salary as a cybersecurity sales rep for a company actually based out of Toronto up there with you boys. And I felt like middle school Stewart was like, hey, man, you made it. You're the 6-figure base salary sales rep. Now you should be able to do whatever you want. Your wife is gonna just love you. And like, you just get credit for making a lot of money now. You should be able to buy whatever you want, video games, all good. And I sat down with my wife for like our first budget meeting after breaking through to that like new income threshold, right? And we were going through the budget for the month, the mortgage, the car payment, the car insurance, the home insurance, the various subscriptions to random stuff, groceries, the kids' college savings, a retirement fund, our traveling, dining out, like, and she was like, things are a little tight. I'm like, how is that possible? How can it be possible that I'm making more money than I've ever made and we're not blowing it on random stuff? Like, we're diligently putting it into all the Dave Ramsey envelopes over here, and we still don't have any money to like I can't go to Cookout and get a milkshake without you side-eyeing me for the $4 expenditure on the empty calories. I'm like, and dude, I was like Clark Griswold looking at the lights on the house. I'm like, why are these not turning on? You know what I mean? I couldn't figure it out. And while I was in the midst of struggling with the fact that I was making more and more, but stuff was tighter and tighter and tighter, and this was like a couple of years into the pandemic, I saw a headline on LinkedIn that talked about the Bitcoin ETF. Wall Street approves Bitcoin ETF. I was like, number one, Bitcoin is still around. That's crazy. Some dude tried to talk to me about it in 2017, and I dismissed him. That thing's still around? And then I was like, what is an ETF anyways? But if Wall Street is approving Bitcoin, it must be a real thing. Let me check it out. And Chris, Jamie, that was the beginning of a like headlong dive into the rabbit hole. And all last year, the only thing I could do was think about Bitcoin. And I learned so much about money and inflation and Bitcoin and Austrian economics, cryptography. Like, it was like, I was like that guy from the Avengers who gets tapped by the scepter and his like eyes go blue and he's like doing work for Loki and he's like, boss, the Tesseract is showing me so much. It's more than knowledge. It's beauty, or whatever that line was. Like, I went insane for Bitcoin because I realized if I'm going to be a dad who can provide for his wife and his 2 kids and not work until the day I'm dead, I need something that will protect me from the ravages of money printing, from the ravages of inflation. Like, I need a safe place to put all my time and energy so that it will actually stay there and be there when I need it again. So, to answer your question, I learned that Bitcoin is Bitcoin for all sorts of super interesting computer science and economical and mathematical reasons that I'm happy to get into, but probably nobody listening is interested in. Crypto is kryptonite because people are just making it out of nowhere for no reason and putting hilarious names to it and hoping that you're going to dump your money in there so they can take it from you. So if you're listening to this and you're a dad and you're not getting ahead and you can't figure out why, it's not that you have money problems. It might be that the problem is your money.
Dropping truths.
There you go. Mic drop.
That was good, man. All right, so we're warmed up now. We're going to start recording. Let's do it one more. We're ready. AB, you ready to press record over there?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's dope, man.
And begin.
And we're live. So I want Kozub to talk about his experience with crypto. Go, lay some truth on him, bud.
I thought we were going to save that for when I'm on his show next week.
Well,
but all right. So, 2018, I figured I'd start dabbling and play a little bit. So I threw maybe like 75 or 100K into crypto, not into Bitcoin. It quickly within like 7 months went up to about 320K. Held on to it, and it's currently sitting at around 25K from 2018. So. Yeah, that was my so I have a whole bunch of shit fart coins worth nothing, but I have millions and billions of them.
And just for the folks following along at home, Stewart, if he had put that into Bitcoin and the same time had passed, what do you think that looks like today, man?
Oh, easily half. I mean, if you put in 100 grand, in 2018, I think, Bitcoin had kind of run up in 2017 to like $20,000 a coin. And people were like, oh my God, this is insane. And it kind of crashed back down to maybe like 3. But let's just say for fun that you put in $100,000 in 2018 and Bitcoin was $4,000 a coin. I think that's pretty decently accurate. That would have given you 25 coins. I'm going to look at the UTX Oracle here, which is the one true price of Bitcoin, $93,033. That means you would now have $2.3 million.
Yeah.
So it's rough, man. It's rough. Now, listen, did you put $100K into crypto because you wanted to join this bubbly world of quick gains and you got all hyped up about it?
Yeah, for sure. And
okay.
Because it went so quick and I like tripled it in like a 6 to 8 month period, I was like, fuck, this isn't going to stop. This is just going to keep going. So I just kept letting it ride. I didn't pull out anything. I got like, those cool crypto.com, like metal Visa unlimited cards that they gave you that you could just go spend it wherever you wanted with all your profits. I was fucking balling. Yeah.
Well,
and then I was bailing.
You're not alone. I mean, we've had 154 different guests on our show since January. Many of them did exactly as you did, and they've learned their lesson, and they're back to stacking sats with the rest of us. Building wealth slowly, man. Slowly using a form of money that we've literally never seen before, man. But I mean, honestly, at least you put in money that you actually had, Jamie. We had spotty Wi-Fi come on our show in the first season of Sat Chats. He's like a rapper from Florida, by the way, and he raps about crypto. And his name is Spotty Wi-Fi, which is an amazing name for a rapper. He was basically taking out credit cards during the time that you were putting in real money. He was ripping it open, cracking their credit card, maxing the limit to buy crypto, and doing that several times until he was completely wrecked. And it's because anytime somebody makes a form of money out of thin air, it doesn't go good. It doesn't turn out. It's not a good idea. Cryptocurrencies like XRP, Solana, Ethereum, Doge, Fartcoin, Trump coin, whatever, Pepe coin, somebody's just making that out of nowhere for no good reason. There's another token, Jamie, that they are issuing like mad right now, and it has no real value, but people are all about it. Can you tell me what it is?
No clue.
Chris, you know where I'm going with this?
No, I'm going to say no clue.
It's the U.S. dollar. It's the U.S. dollar.
Can't say that to us. We see that as like gold to us because you know what our Canadian dollar's worth, right?
Yeah. We're stacking loonies up here.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to the Rogers. It's still called Rogers Stadium, right? I went there for a game one night, and it was loony hot dog night.
Yeah.
Where you could get a hot dog for one loony. I was like, let's go. But I think it was more than $1 Canadian to get the loony hot dog. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. And then there weren't even really any toppings available. So I know things are tough for you all. That a steak is like $100 in the grocery store right now.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm here in America, and I'm telling you, if I'm here and the money is no good, what do you think that means for you, man? Like you might try to get to the US dollar as the promised land. It's not the promised land. Okay. There's nothing here, man. It's just as bad as what you guys have. But if I'm looking at that and I'm a dad, let's think about it like this. Let's say that I'm a good, clean dad. I'm busting my butt to provide for my wife and kids. Because by the way, I am. Basically, I wake up and all I do is work until it's time to go to bed, right? Because I'm trying to get out ahead. Let's say I've saved up $1 million. I haven't, because again, lots of bad choices between ages 17 and 34. But let's imagine that I did. And going into the pandemic, my government decides to print 40% more of its own little tokens to distribute to us. Then that means 40% of my purchasing power is gone because they tipped out the maple syrup and they poured a bunch of water back inside and shook it up and said, this is still the same syrup you had before the pandemic. No, it's not. It's watered down. So now my $1 million only buys me $600,000 worth of stuff. That's not fair. How do you get out ahead as a dad if you're saving in a form of money that is designed to get worse?
So what do you tell people that aren't super educated about it and they go, yeah, but like Bitcoin is still a cryptocurrency. Like it's still something made out of midair. It's still, you know, X's and zeros and whatever. And it's for sure, it's limited, like way more limited than a ton of those other cryptocurrencies that are like completely unlimited, almost some of them. But like, what's the difference other than it's how limited it is? Why is it any different?
That's a good question, man. And that is like exploding 27 different avenues that you can go down around why Bitcoin is different. But if I can try to wrestle this one down to the ground, because I'm still getting down to the absolute bottom of Bitcoin. When I came into Bitcoin, I was interested in it as a way to make a lot of money quickly. I wanted to catch up with my peers. Like my retirement account wasn't where it needed to be. Savings, not where it needs to be. Like overall budgetary picture, like it just didn't feel good. And I initially saw Bitcoin as a way to catch up because I'm like, dude, Bitcoin keeps going up and up and up and up. And it's done something like go up an average of 80% over the past 10 years. And I believe it's outperformed every other asset class 16 years in a row. So I'm like, dude, like this is the rocket ship. Let me put my money into it so it can grow faster than this other stuff I've been trying, like stocks and retirement portfolios. So I came at it from a sense, Jamie, of, dude, I don't even really need to know if it's any good. It literally is just going up and that's all it's ever done. That's as much as I need to know. Like I'm getting in there. But I started learning more about economics and the history of money. And I realized that, to your point, having a money that is scarce, even if that is the only differentiator, it's the only one you need. It's the only one you need. Because if the amount of money is limited, then the things you can buy with your share go up and up and up and up over time. It is a wild phenomenon that captures technology and our productivity gains. And, you know, I'm going to go off a cliff trying to explain that. But there's more than just the scarcity of Bitcoin. There is an enormous amount of mathematics and like 500-year technological breakthroughs that have been braided into this absolutely brand new thing that is Bitcoin. It is a brand new form of computation that no one has ever seen before. It's actually not the first cryptocurrency, Jamie. It's the last cryptocurrency. There were attempts to make a form of digital money that works online for like 2 decades. There was BitGold and Hashcash and eGold, and people were trying to do it. Satoshi put Bitcoin together, kind of like if the Wright brothers appeared out of nowhere, made the best airplane out of spare lawnmower parts. It flew beautifully, and then they just disappeared, and you never heard from them again. Everything that came after Bitcoin is an attempt to copycat or improve on something that it's not any good. So the reason why Bitcoin is different from cryptocurrency is because crypto is just basically another way to gamble online. I mean, some of them might have uses. You might say, hey, this is kind of like it's almost like an application that's powered by these tokens. Like instead of subscribing to this software, I'm going to buy tokens that power. But dude, if you're a dad like me and you don't have any time and you don't want to be a full-time financial analyst or an investor or keep up with the different stocks or whatever's going on, all you need to do is make money and take the money that you're trying to save and just save it in Bitcoin instead of in dollars, and you will turn out okay over time. Guaranteed.
So how do you talk to somebody or get it across to somebody that like there's for sure people that are like, yeah, but Bitcoin's not money. Like really it's just like it's a digital equation. It's something that's made up, no different than all of those other ones and no different than other things that are limited out there that you can buy. Really it's an investment in something, but really it's an investment in like a digital code. And whatever that is, it's only worth what people are willing to pay for it, and it's only worth when you're able to use it for something. So what about the skeptics that are like, well, what if nobody wants to ever accept Bitcoin, or what if people just decide they don't want to buy it? Then the value of it goes down, because it really isn't a money per se, right? It's you own your own right to a digital code is really what it is, right?
These are good questions, Jamie. And you're right. A lot of times I sit down with guests here on Sat Chats and I get super excited because I've done hundreds of hours, 1,000+ hours of studying what I believe is one of the biggest breakthroughs of all time. Like Bitcoin is penicillin, Bitcoin is gunpowder. Bitcoin is the printing press. It's like fire or the wheel. But there are people who just say, hey, I just can't get past the fact that it's digital. I'm like, okay, maybe we should back up. I mean, not every single person is going to be ready to go from, I don't know anything about Bitcoin to, oh my goodness, 1 Bitcoin is worth 1 Bitcoin. Or, not everyone's ready to go from, I don't believe in Bitcoin to, my goodness, this thing is going to become the money that the entire world uses to freely exchange value with one another without any governments or banks or Venmo or PayPal getting in between and taking their cut. Like, I can send money right to Chris and I still owe him like 50,000 sats that I'm going to be sending directly to him. When people are having trouble with that digital aspect of Bitcoin, usually I try to back up to something else that might be more important to them. I mean, one lady, she still struggles with Bitcoin's nature, but we were able to show her that if she puts only a small amount of her spare money into Bitcoin and Bitcoin continues to do what Bitcoin is doing, she should be able to retire significantly earlier than planned. And she's like, okay, I'm in. I can put that amount of money into Bitcoin just to see if it will do what you say it's going to do. Because I think to convey why Bitcoin is one of the most real things we've ever created or discovered as a human race, I'm going to have to talk your head off for a very long time. So usually the best thing I can do is say, hey man, instead of trying to understand all of it at once, because there is a lot there, just buy $50 a month, every single month, and watch it do what it does, and you'll eventually get interested enough to learn more. Because you kind of have to. A lot of people say Bitcoin is everything you don't understand about economics plus everything you don't understand about computer science. And they're right. So maybe best to just get started, because $50 doesn't even get you one trip to the fast food joint with your family these days. Just throw it in there and let it do what it's going to do.
How would you tell a new dad getting into this to get involved in that? Like I always had all my stuff in like crypto.com and like in those apps, but you know, overseeing what happened with Binance and a bunch of those over the last 5 or 6 years, like some of those companies just suddenly get locked up and disappear. They get caught for fraud and, you know, insider bullshit going on. What would you tell a new dad that's not super techie, that like maybe can't run his own Trezor wallet or something like that? Like how would you tell him to get involved and like try and do this at $50 a month?
Best thing you can do is pull out your phone, and you probably already have an app on there that will let you buy some Bitcoin. It's not the cleanest, best way to get started if you're going to become a bona fide Bitcoiner, but it's a way to get started. And like right now, with only a handful of percentage points of humanity even owning Bitcoin, let's just go ahead and get you started, right? Like maybe driving a manual car is the true way to drive a car, but for now, just start with an automatic and you'll pick up some of the basics. You know, my uncle, who's 70 years old, decided to stack the sats on our show after we talked him down through his fears. Turned out the Cash App on his smartphone was already there and ready for him. You know, we had someone else on the show who decided to stack the sats, and he was able to set up a recurring buy, I think through Robinhood. Like it was already on his phone. If you can just accumulate some, especially if you're a dad, you know, maybe you want to go to one of these exchanges behind me, like Strike is super easy to use. Gemini is another one, and they have a credit card that's pretty popular right now. River. You do have the McDonald's of Bitcoin, which is Coinbase. You know what I mean? They'll give you a Big Mac and fries if you're really interested. Maybe just get started, and then over time, you'll learn how to do it properly. And maybe to touch on what you're saying there, Jamie, if you buy Bitcoin through one of these exchanges and you leave the Bitcoin there, then your Bitcoin is at risk.
Right. Like all my stuff right now is on the crypto.com app. So like all of mine's at risk. But if I wanted to go to Bitcoin, switch it all to Bitcoin, what should I do with that app after I do that?
Yeah. What you need to do is download a wallet for yourself, like Blue Wallet. You download it from, you know, the Apple Store, since everybody over there in your studio just loves Steve Jobs and his vision. You can download it from, you know, the Android App Store as well. You download Blue Wallet. It's so easy to set up, and it's your own little space in the Bitcoin universe. And then you can go to the Bitcoin that someone is holding on your behalf, like at crypto.com, and say, hey, man, I'd like to have my Bitcoin now. And you'll put in your address and they'll send it right to you. I mean, what you're doing right now is packing your lunch and you're putting it in the company fridge. Chris, he's a big dude. He needs 3,000 to 3,500 calories minimum to maintain muscle mass. And if he had to leave his house too quickly, right, he might eat your lunch.
Yeah. It's super
so what's different than that other app though? Because like, so from what I remember back then, like I bought a Trezor wallet. I just never used it. So like I've got one of those like hard configured wallets. I don't know what they're called, like how you describe it. But I bought one, way too technical for me. I had fucking no clue how to put my stuff on it or whatever. But if I wanted to get out of my KuCoin, like I've got stuff in KuCoin and I've got stuff in crypto.com. If I take it out of that, what's the difference putting it in that other app that you're talking about? Because like if that app or that company goes tits, how do you have access to the stuff if you don't really pull it off and put it on one of those like hard wallets, like a Trezor wallet or something?
I got you. Beautiful. Okay. Good stuff here, Jamie. Wow. We're going to save Jamie's life here, Chris. We're going to get all his Bitcoin off of these random exchanges, and we're going to get it into your custody, because that is one of the coolest things about Bitcoin. If as a dad, I put my money in the bank, then the bank and I have to agree that that's the amount of money that's in that account. And I sure hope there's no funny business there, right? If I buy Bitcoin and leave it with crypto.com or Coinbase, then basically what they're saying is, hey, this amount of Bitcoin has your name on it, but you don't control that Bitcoin. Someone else controls that Bitcoin. So when you download Blue Wallet to your phone, that's not an exchange. That's not a place to go buy Bitcoin. That's a place to store the keys to your Bitcoin. Now, your Bitcoin is not in that wallet. Your Bitcoin is not in that Trezor. Your Bitcoin's not even with that exchange. Your Bitcoin is on the blockchain, Jamie. It doesn't ever go anywhere. It's like a giant wall of post office boxes. And when we send Bitcoin from one to the other person, we're just taking some out of our box and putting it in yours. If you get control of your Bitcoin on a smartphone wallet and that company goes tits, as you say, you still have the keys to your Bitcoin. And all you do is download any other wallet that has not gone tits. You put your keys in, it rebuilds everything, and you're good to go. It's not the wallet that has the Bitcoin, it's the wallet that has your keys.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, and that's
your
that's
keys
60,
are 12
16
words.
Yeah, okay.
12 words.
Yeah.
Chris, you could put the entirety of your life's wealth into your head. 12 words.
I think that's the scary part for people that don't really understand this, right? Because it's like, yeah, but then what? Like, fuck, what if I didn't tell somebody those 12 words or they screw those 12 words up? Like, there's nowhere to go. Just pick up my Bitcoin.
Well, you're right. That does scare some people because if we get our debit card stolen and someone runs to Walmart and buys $10, $50 gift cards, then and you report it, they just put the money back in your account. Where'd that money come from, by the way? With Bitcoin, you have to be responsible. But let me tell you something, dude. As a dad, my flavor of dad is Old Norse dad, okay? I like the Viking Age. I like Iceland. I like Finland, Norway, not Sweden. Okay? But I like Denmark, all that stuff,
Got a
right?
rager for everybody else, just not Sweden.
Sweden made some poor choices throughout history, namely to invade Finland over and over again for no good reason other than they wanted our stuff. Anyways, you know, in today's world, I think that we as dads, especially like guys like us in America and Canada, like, do we really have a tribe? Do we really have rites of passage? Like, when do we know that we're now no longer a boy, but we're a man? We live in a world where we basically work as employees and go home and get distracted by television. And there's like many of us that want to kind of break out of that rhythm and like do something more meaningful, have an identity, have a tribe like your Burlington dads that you've got rolling up there. We want responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, we want manliness, and you can't really own something unless you can also lose it. So yes, if you lose the keys to your Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is gone, much like some Viking who just got done taking absolutely every last drop from some monks in France and is sailing back to the fjords only for a storm to tip the boat over and all the gold 100% sinks to the bottom of the ocean. I'd much rather have a solid form of money that I can lose than a weak form of money that I can't.
So I got asked too about so your kids, because obviously you've got a daughter right around the age of my eldest daughter. Are you starting to have this conversation with him or with them rather? And if so, how?
Yeah. So my dad, you know, if this podcast is called Shit My Dad Taught Me, my dad taught me about finances. He was really focused on making sure that we were financially literate. but his financial literacy took the form of, whoa, I was like coming back to you through a time loop there. His financial literacy came in the form of save 20% of what you earn. You kids can blow the remaining 80%. And then that was like our elementary school directive. Like if we ever got any allowance, put 20% into a bank account. You guys can blow the other 80% on X-Men cards and Airheads and all that kind of stuff. Like middle school into high school, he started teaching us more about business and entrepreneurialism, and about stocks, trading stocks, investing long-term in stocks, how to get out of the rat race by, doing like Robert T. Kiyosaki did, where you kind of buy real estate, you get some renters, you get some passive income, and then you kind of eventually break free of being a 9-to-5 type person. And I really kind of internalized what my dad was teaching me, which was, hey, try to be smart about money so that, if you aren't smart about money, you're never going to have any money and you're never going to know why, and you're just going to have to work forever. For me, Bitcoin is like the culmination of what my dad was trying to teach me about being smart about money. It is the smartest choice you can make. So am I having that conversation with my kids? 100%. Is my 10-year-old daughter listening? No. Is my 12-year-old son listening? 100%. I mean, he has started stacking sats with the best of them, and he's actually a darling among my viewers who love that this 12-year-old kid is stacking sats and calculating his retirement date based on how many Satoshis he has, along with some math around the inflation rate of the US dollar, the average appreciation rate of Bitcoin. There are calculators out there where you put in how many sats you have, what you think the inflation rate will be over time, what you think the appreciation rate of Bitcoin will be over time. And he's like, dude, I'm going to be able to retire when I'm 27. And then I'm just going to go open up a coffee shop and have a good time. So it's totally clicked for my son. And when he loses a tooth, he asks the tooth fairy for Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. So
he doesn't want US dollars.
You give him a USB stick?
I don't give him anything because I'm not the tooth fairy, and his tooth is worthless to me. I'm not going to pay any money for a bloody old hunk of enamel, but the tooth fairy absolutely will place about $3 worth of Bitcoin into his wallet that he controls.
That
Jamie,
tooth fairy is magical.
Dude, the tooth fairy is a Bitcoiner. The tooth fairy is a Bitcoiner. And he has gone through and said, how many baby teeth do I still have in my head? I think I have about 15,000 sats worth of teeth still in my head left to lose. I mean, this dude's a monster, and I love him to death.
Yeah, that's great, man.
That's awesome.
That's
but
fun.
For your kids, I got to tell you, dads are excellent at repeating themselves. And I had to repeat myself for like a year about Bitcoin before even one of them started to get it a little bit. But I feel so much hope knowing that my son is saving in a form of money that buys you more and more and more and more over time, instead of saving in a form of money that buys you less and less and less and less. Guys, you got to remember, the government hasn't always been the issuer of money. That's only a very recent thing, and it's not working. And people now realize it's not working, and they're looking to Bitcoin.
With all the new laws and shit that are in place down there in the States, so somebody saves up a bunch of Bitcoins and, they put in $100,000 and it ends up being worth $1 million, and then they want to do something with some of that money. Are you guys taxed on all of that right now in the States, or are there ways of legally playing around with that? Or is it, because I know if you use a bunch of the apps, they all report now, right? So if you use Coinbase or any of those ones, you buy stuff and you sell stuff and you make a profit on it, even if you're still buying other coins with it, you're paying on that rip that you made. How do you play that game with Bitcoin if you do want to spend it or use it or whatever?
Okay. So 3 things. Number 1, if you have Bitcoin and you buy something with Bitcoin, then you haven't left the network and there's nothing to tax because I haven't sold anything for a gain. There's 100 million sats in each Bitcoin. Right now, it's about 1,000 sats for every dollar. So if I spend 25,000 sats buying something from you, that's $25. Where are the profits? Where are the losses? They're nowhere. You're inside the Bitcoin network. There's no event. Now, some people might say, yes, there is, and it is a little messy. But quite frankly, try to find me, bro. Okay? How do you even know what I'm doing with the Bitcoin I control if I buy something directly from you? Who's watching that?
That's great to like a point though, but what about when that money scales, right? Like say okay, like fuck, I've done really good. I want to go buy myself a car now. Can you go do that and just buy a car with it, like in the States easily with Bitcoin, or like do you have to sell the Bitcoin and then you want to go buy the car, but then you're gonna get taxed on everything that you made on the Bitcoin?
If you sell the Bitcoin for cash, then there is a taxable moment there, and it's a capital gains moment, just like any other investment, right? And
yeah,
I think if you're a regular person, you'll take that hit because Jamie, if you put 100 grand into Bitcoin a couple years ago, you have $2.3 million. If you sell 100 grand off for a sweet car and then you got to pay 25% on that, what do you even care? Your investment has gone up so much, you're just laughing.
well, we're in Canada, so it's like 55% tax.
56. Yeah.
God, diesel.
Yeah.
Canada, why?
Yeah, but it's free,
Justin
it's free
Trudeau,
healthcare, man. It's free healthcare.
Free healthcare that you have to wait 3 years for while you actively have stage 4 cancer and are dying.
Yeah, I literally drive
But
to Buffalo
anyways.
and I got to go for an MRI and pay the $400 because it doesn't take 6 months. It takes 6 hours.
Yeah, we got some good things here in America. You also might get shot at any point at any time. It's a little bit like Mad Max Fury Road down here. A lot of times when we leave our houses, we spray paint our teeth silver and we say, "Witness me." And then we get in our car just because you never know when you could die down here. So there's trade-offs. But one thing that's cool about Bitcoin is if you're a regular dad like me, Bitcoin does allow you to play the rich man's game. Up until Bitcoin, I couldn't play the Jeffrey Bezos or Elon Musk game because I simply did not have anything that I could use to play that game. I had my cash savings, I had my retirement and some stocks, but not all that much. With Bitcoin, let's say let's go back to the 25 Bitcoin that you could have bought while you were buying a bunch of random tokens. If you had that money today, you could, and you wanted to buy a car. Let's say you're a sensible man and you're just going to get like a Toyota SUV for $45,000 US. You could take 1 Bitcoin and you could give it to a Bitcoin lender like Ledin right here. Okay. Salt is another one. Even Strike actually will do this for you. You give them the 1 Bitcoin and it's worth $93,000. They give you half of that back in cash, $45,000. Okay. No taxable event has occurred. You go buy the car with the cash. Great. These lenders do not charge interest monthly, at least not interest that you have to pay. They will let you build it up to the end of their 12-month period. And at the end of the 12-month period, if your loan is still healthy, they'll let you roll it into the next year. And here's why. Bitcoin increasing in value every year for the past 16 years means that by the time your $45,000 loan is due on your $90,000 worth of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin you've given to Ledin is worth $180,000. And they say, well, actually, the $45,000 you owe us is way less than half the value. Would you like $45,000 more dollars, sir? And you can pull value out of your Bitcoin forever if that's how you want to play that game. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what Jeffrey Bezos and they take the Amazon stock, they get a loan against it. The stock price goes up. They keep getting loans. You know, they don't ever really come down from this buy, borrow, die world that they live in. An average 40-year-old dude in Raleigh like me, who's only quasi-successful, can't live in that world. But with Bitcoin, now I can. Because look, dude, I've been buying $50 a week for a year. I got enough Bitcoin now to give it to Ledin, get half of it in cash, and pay my taxes for the year. I might try it out.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, there's obviously other asset classes you can kind of play that game with, like term life insurance is a big one up here for being able to do that, create an asset class to be able to lend against. And yeah, it's a neat way to do it, man. And fascinating how you're approaching it too. I said it to you the other day when we were sitting down. I love the enthusiasm. I love the, you know, just that you're spreading the gospel. It's fun to watch.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Chris. I'm like really bad at acknowledging people before I launch into the next thing I'm thinking about, because I think I might be quasi-robotic. And quite frankly, I believe I'm going to transition through cyborgdom into full robothood over time, dude. We're going to live for a long time, the three of us, especially Chris. His set of genes are like rock solid.
He's got some nice jeans on.
He has some nice shit. You need a form of money that's going to go the distance, man.
I'm going to Mars, man. When Elon figures it out, and for $250K, I'm going to Mars, even if I can't ever come back.
Guess what money works on Mars right now, Jamie? There's one form of money that works on Mars right now. If you were on Mars, you could send a transaction back to Earth and buy something here. There's only one form of money that currently works on Mars. Guess which one it is?
It's Fartcoin.
It's Fartcoin.
It's not.
So
it's not.
dump all your Bitcoin.
Is it Dogelon
Go
Mars?
on Fartcoin.
I do have 4 billion Dogelon Mars.
yeah, man. I mean, it's there's a lot to learn there, but it's futuristic too. You know, I want to provide for my wife and kids, yes, but I want to provide for my grandkids, for my great grandkids, for my great great grandkids, for my great 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 grandkids. I'm the 4th Arthur Pelto in an unbroken line of 5 Arthur Peltos. I'm trying to have enough Satoshis to put the 9th Arthur Pelto up comfortably before I'm dead. And you know, the way that Bitcoin works, if there's only 21 million and that supply is limited, but the entire world decides to adopt it because it's a form of money that works 24/7, 365, permissionless, fully verifiable. It's the freaking credit. It's the intergalactic credit of the future. I'm going to get as many of those as I can right now because you can get 1,000 sats for $1.
How many of those 21 million?
You used to be able to get 1,000 Bitcoin for $1, by the way, y'all.
Yeah, stop rubbing.
And we've had some guys who bought Bitcoin when it was 6 or 7 cents a Bitcoin. And they're like, thanks so much for having me on your show. I'm actually leaving right now to go to a gigantic private compound I built for myself in Mexico. I'll see you in 9 months for my Bitcoin, baby. I'm like, God, Diesel. Can't wait to be that guy.
I hope it happens, man.
How many of those 21 million coins are available right now? Because they're not all available, right? They release over time, kind of.
So that's actually a really good point to make. This month, we hit 95% supply.
Right.
So 95% of all Bitcoins have now been issued. It's a big deal because over the next 10 years, there is a gold rush for the next 4% of Bitcoin supply. So over the next 10 years, we're going to go from 95% has been issued and is in circulation to 99% has been issued and is in circulation. And then it's going to take another 100 years for the remaining 1% to be mined and placed into circulation. So if you're going to get some Bitcoin, the getting is good right now. So there's 20 million coins out there right now. There's another million coins to go. get you some. Here's the deal, though. People are trading their faces off with Bitcoin. So it's not like it's hard to find.
Right.
If you want Bitcoin, someone will sell it to you, period. And there's enough guys that are trying to time the market that when they sell their Bitcoin at the wrong moment, you can buy that and set that aside for your family.
Yeah, BlackRock
It's not like
just
it's running
unloaded
out.
like 1.7 billion in like 3 days ago, right? And it dropped like crazy, and then it climbed right back up. And yesterday it was up like 7% again.
Yeah, dude, Bitcoin is unstoppable. And the more you learn about how it was created, the more you learn about how it's spread out across. And here's another thing. It's spread out, man. There were some server issues with Jeffrey Bezos's AWS the other day, and people were having a hard time interfacing with Ethereum and Solana because the central servers were down. But Bitcoin is run by 25,000 random computers and laptops in homes all over the earth and on satellites and outer. It's not going anywhere. You can't find Spartacus to put down the Greek rebellion because every single individual is claiming to be Spartacus. Okay? It's spread out. So it's the money of the future, man. And so, I'm gonna jump off a cliff trying to talk about it because it's so important, man.
So let us know the biggest secret in crypto. Who is Satoshi?
Yes. Good question. Me, suckers.
It's me, bitches.
I'm gonna get assassinated just for joking around that I'm Satoshi Nakamoto. Well,
what country do you think he's from?
Either America or the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
I just aired an episode with a guy named Vic, who was so interested in the mystery of Satoshi that on his journey to find out who Satoshi was, he ended up learning about all the discrete elements of Bitcoin that come together to make this like immaculate form of money. He wouldn't quite say who he thought Satoshi Nakamoto was, but he kind of implied that it was a fellow named Nick Szabo, who was a cypherpunk and had a form of digital money called BitGold that didn't stand the test of time. But I've looked into this myself. Satoshi might be a fellow named Lynn Sassaman, who was a really gifted programmer. And he was like, I think from America, but he was studying in the Netherlands. And like some of the time he would spell things with American English, sometimes with UK English, to where it might be a giveaway for him. It's not clear. And he killed himself. So maybe that's why Satoshi's not around anymore. Some people might think some dude came out with a crazy tweet that was outlining all the coincidences between Bitcoin important dates and Jack Dorsey. That was a wild post. Ultimately, it could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be a group of people, it could be an alien from outer space, which would be pretty cool. It could be a time traveler, which is the ultimate galaxy brain move. Go back in time, make money that gets more valuable over time, get yourself 1,000 coins, leave them there, go back to the future. Marty McFly, you're rich. Ultimately, it doesn't matter who Satoshi Nakamoto is because Bitcoin is a protocol the same way the internet is a protocol. Email is a protocol. Bluetooth is a protocol. If I'm Satoshi and I make the very first snowball at the top of some of your beautiful mountains there out in the West, and I set it down on the top and let it roll, it snowballs into a gigantic thing that is way down the slope from where I am and way too big for me to stop. It doesn't matter who created Bitcoin because it can no longer be controlled by any one person. And that's part of what makes it so great.
There's access to see like all the wallets that are out there, right? So like how much does Satoshi still have in that wallet? Because like obviously that wallet would stand out and be very different from all of the other wallets. Like how many does that wallet control, or what percentage?
Satoshi's wallet is famous. Are there 1 million coins in it? I think there might be like 1 million out of the 21 million supply. There's a bunch. I think it's like almost $300 billion today is its value. Like Satoshi will eventually be richer than Elon Musk and he might be dead and he'll never spend those coins. And that only makes the rest of the coins more valuable because of scarcity. But check this out. We know his address.
Yeah.
So number one, if anyone spends any Bitcoin out of that address, bam, Satoshi Nakamoto is still alive, y'all. Crazy to think about. But he also left those coins, and I had a guest, number 60, Simple Steve. He believes that Satoshi left those coins in plain sight as a way to help you realize that Bitcoin is so secure that you can leave the address to an incredible fortune out in the open for everyone to see and attack without anything happening to it. So you talked earlier about, hey, Bitcoin is just digital. It's just some bits. Is it really different from cryptocurrencies? It absolutely is. Yes, Bitcoin is just bits. They're bits of information that we're using to represent our time and energy. So you got to get over that hump and say, I'm going to choose Bitcoin as money instead of centralized government tokens or seashells or glass beads or gold coins. But
what about bottles of bourbon? I collect those.
I know you bought $100,000 worth of seashells in 2018 as well. Really I know that didn't go well for you either.
No,
right?
Fucking Harmony chain screwed me bad.
Once you say, you know what, these bits are powered and secured by a gigantic amount of math, along with 25,000 plus computers worldwide. It's the world's largest supercomputer. I'm going to go ahead and get some of this junk. The Bitcoin that you have in your wallet, Jamie, because let's say you've taken it into Blue Wallet, you've got your keys. You're not leaving your lunch in the fridge for Chris to eat anymore. Your lunch is in your own fridge. For Chris to try to open that fridge, he needs your keys. And if he doesn't have your keys, he needs to guess your keys. But the way these keys work, those 12 words in a row, they're random. They're so secure that a computer would need to make more guesses than there are atoms in the observable universe. So Satoshi left his 1 million coins in plain sight and said, I dare you to try to get in. I dare you to try to get in. Try as many times as you want. You'll never get there. So my wealth is secure, both from other people who are trying to get to it and from governments that are trying to devalue it by printing more of their own money, man. So you gotta get some.
If that security is true, then how come there was all this talk about that guy that he had like $10 million in Bitcoin in a wallet, but he only had 2 more guesses, and then he only had 1 more guess, and if he got it wrong, then he was going to lose it. Like how does that make sense then?
Your boy was an OG Bitcoiner from before the time of these 12 seed words. Once the Bitcoin community developed these newer wallets that can be restored anywhere, anytime, in any other wallet with only 12 words, it made it 1 million times easier to take care of your Bitcoin. The guy who was locking himself out of his Bitcoin, back in that day, your keys was literally a giant unmanageable string of letters and numbers that you needed to have in like a file on your computer. It's like the dude who lost his Bitcoin in a junkyard.
Right, yeah.
He lost his Bitcoin in a junkyard because the keys to his Bitcoin was in a file on his hard drive, and he yeeted the computer into the dump, right? These days, if you lose your wallet, you just restore your wallet with those 12 words. So that guy who was locking himself out, not only did he have a file that he needed to access, he must have put some security in place to prevent other people from being able to brute force guess their way inside. But that's not a 12-word seed phrase. He put like a password in front of his old school file. That's my understanding.
Right.
So it was older Bitcoin stuff. These days it's easy. You can do it. I can do it. Chris can do it. Every dad in America and Canada can do it. And let me tell you, when you stack your first sats, it hits different. Just try it out.
So go back to the dad stuff. Do your kids think you're like super nerd, or do your kids look up to you and hey, my dad's the coolest dad. He's a YouTuber. What do your kids think about you? What would they say to us if we were to ask them?
They believe that I am Lurch from the Addams Family. Basically a brain dead butler who will simply do whatever they command. That's what they think I am. And the reason why they think that way is because when they ask me to do something, even if it's dumb, like pick me up in the Great Hall and walk me 15 feet to the bathroom and set me back down, I do it every single time. Because I'm going to be dead one day, Chris, and I need to be the best possible dad I can be. And for me, that's to try to do every single last thing possible for them. Because when they move out, life is going to be hard enough for them when they move out. And some people say you're spoiling your kids. And sometimes they do act spoiled rotten. And it makes me angry that I'm choosing this parenting style for them. But most of the time I feel pretty good because when they say, hey, can you do this? I'm like, it's already done. You know what I mean? That's what they think of me.
Yeah, good answer, man.
Yeah.
I got one for you that's probably going to put you on the spot because I don't know if you know this about us. I know I didn't tell you, but we like to bring a dad joke to all of our shows. I wonder if you, on the spot, can think of a dad joke you can share with us.
He's probably got a Bitcoin dad joke.
Yeah, bonus points if you can theme it, for sure.
Well, I'll tell you the dad joke that my dad told me. How about that?
There we go.
Multi-generational. Bonus points for that.
Generational. Shit my dad taught me was this dad joke, and he would tell this joke every single day. He would ask us, when is a door not a door?
Let's have it.
When it's open?
When it's ajar.
Yep.
And every day, did you answer that, or did you play dumb
Dude,
every day?
after 10 years of this, we saw somewhere else. That's not even the joke. The joke is actually, when is a door ajar? When it's open. He was saying it wrong for like a decade, and he still hasn't changed that joke.
That is a classic
He's
dad
a maniac.
joke. Then. There you go.
Yeah, consistency.
He's a maniac.
Do you want to just kind of tell the people where they can connect with everything you're doing?
Yes. Thank you for having me on the show. If you are listening to Chris and Jamie because you are a dad, then that means you have a whole world of things you're doing every single day to try to take care of yourself, to try to take care of your wife, to try to take care of your kids, to make enough money, to eat healthy, all that stuff. It is an absolute ton of work to be a dad, especially a dad to young kids. Do me a favor and at the very least, solve for money by learning more about Bitcoin. You can learn more about Bitcoin in a whole set of ways. But one I would recommend to you is to listen to my damn show. I'm going to try to curse here. Listen to my fucking show.
There you go.
Okay?
Let's go. Welcome to the
It's
show.
called Sat Chats, the Bitcoin podcast. We have got people just like you who have the same questions you do, and you get to listen along as we answer them. You also get treated to Bitcoiners who have been doing the Bitcoiner thing for years. Spoiler alert, their lives are insanely amazing. And if you start now, you will end up like them as well. Go to YouTube, search for Sat Chats, 2 words, okay? Luckily, these days, you'll find us. Back in January, if you searched for Sat Chats, it would show you a bunch of SAT prep videos. And I'm like, ain't nobody trying to study for a high school test here in America. We're trying to learn about Bitcoin. Search for Sat Chats. You'll see me. I look just like this. I'm cartoonified. Click on it. Do 2 things. Number 1, subscribe. And this is not because I need your subscription, although I would love to have it. It's because when you do, you will be entered for your chance to win 2 million sats. Again, there are 100 million sats in a Bitcoin, so I'm offering you 2% of a coin in exchange for subscribing, which at today's exchange rate is worth almost $1,900 US. Think about how much shitcoin our boy Jamie could buy with that $1,900, y'all. Okay.
Amen.
All right. Hey, if Chris is still feeling some kind of way because I was jumping on him for his use of the word crypto, I got to pick on you today now, brother. Okay. I got to spread it around. The next thing you want to do is just scroll around the channel. You will see a thumbnail and a title that speaks to you, I promise. Click on that and watch it. Rinse and repeat until it finally clicks for you, and you will be happy that you did so.
Otherwise, we'll see you on Mars, right?
Yeah, with a
Looking
bunch
down.
of Dogecoin. Exactly.
That's it.
And with any luck, we'll publish this as a collaboration. So if you're looking at this video right now, click like right here, and you'll see Shit My Dad Taught Me and Sat Chats, both our little logos, and
There
that'll
you go.
make it easy for you too.
We got the power to do that, man. Well, I got to say thanks to you, man. One of the things Jamie and I really hope to do with our little platform was create some learning opportunities for some dads and some kids. And high up on that list is financial literacy for us. And I think what you're doing is fascinating.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so
man.
much for coming on.
I tell you, dude, there's a whole lot of stuff you can do to make more money with your money. I just want you to look at what form of money you've decided is yours. Just start there. Start there, and then you can go from there. Now, I do need to take over the end of your podcast here because Sat Chats is the Bitcoin podcast that gives away Satoshis. At the end of each one of our episodes, we offer $50 or $50 worth of Bitcoin. Now, every single podcast I am a guest on, I do the same thing for the host. So it's time for you boys to make a choice. Bitcoin is at $93,177 right now, which means if you like, you can get this. This is our boy Ulysses S. Grant, okay? Civil War general, then president, $50. Look at him. He's got a nice beard. God, Jamie is literally the only person without a beard. Imagine being beardless. Or you can get $50 worth of Bitcoin, which is 53,661 Satoshis. Which one do you boys want?
I'll take the sats.
Got to do it,
Yes.
Yeah.
man. Got to do it.
Okay.
And
Now, Chris, what were you about to say, Chris?
Well,
You weren't about to pick the money.
I was, no, sir. No, I have been listening. I
Chris
was
wanted to head to the strip club after.
I was about to say, yeah, we get excited when you flash that real American cash around here. That's real money.
When you try and rub your sats up on the stage, it doesn't go over well.
Can I? Yeah, that's right. Send me your wallet. So no, I think for us, man, and maybe I'll just kind of give our listeners a little heads up that you and I are going to do this. We're going to do this for your 9-month challenge. We're going to set myself up. I'm going to actually teach my girls, especially Lucy, about this, and we're going to use the next few months to educate them. And then you and I will come back on in 9 months' time, and we'll tell the story about how we got some kids interested in stacking those satoshis, as you would say.
Yes, let's go. Stack those sats and listen to sat chats.
Absolutely.
There it is. Okay, man. Anything else?
What else is there?
Shout
man?
out to
Life
AB.
is good.
Shout out to AB in the back.
Yeah, she's been real
Shout
quiet
out to
there
AB.
today, but
Yeah. There's a girl on our show, so I can't be that.
we got one too. Taylor's sitting in on this one today too. She actually laughed at your dad joke. I don't mind telling you.
Ah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go.
There we go.
All right, man. Appreciate your time.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Bye-bye.
Chat soon.
Take care, bro.